we've been live earlier doing some flights in the King Air 350, which is probably one of my favorite smaller airplanes that I enjoy flying just because it's very, very reliable and it's just a good airplane all the way around. Anyway, that's not why we're here today. We're here now because we're going to talk about SpaceX with their successful launch and some of the information on what happened, what went wrong on this beautiful launch. Obviously, every time they launch and get something that massive in the air, to me, that's a success. Because number one, that shuttle stands over 400 feet tall. That's huge. Anyways, we got Brandon Armstrong here with us, joining us on the live stream. He actually got to catch the feed. We were
I
off on.
did. I got up
We
early
were
this
off
morning.
on the time, so I thought it was 10 o'clock Eastern. No, it was 8 o'clock Eastern. So
Yeah, they kind of launched early this morning. I managed to get up and catch it.
but it is what it is. Um, so on the launch, Brandon, you watched it, and let's not talk about any of the failures yet. Let's just talk about how the launch went, as far as
From
every
my
from
from my
from
viewpoint,
from your viewpoint, none of the failures, nothing that messed up, just to launch. How did it go?
actually, I'll let you in on a secret. So I was watching the pre-launch coverage last night too, and I fell asleep, woke up at 5 Central because I knew it was going to launch at 7. And everything up to that point had been going smoothly. They got everybody out of the area last night about midnight, and they started filling up the what's called the fueling farm, which is a series of fuel tanks so that they can get fuel to the vehicle.
Now,
And
well, let's stop there for a minute. The fueling farm. Give
mhm.
some of the viewers a better explanation of what that is. Is it tanks that are on the ground and they use to transfer fuel from the tank to the aircraft? Correct.
Correct. It's basically a series of tanks that are a little bit further away from the launch site to transfer fuel from the storage facilities to the ship and the booster.
Now, guys, what you need to understand about this, they don't do it the same way that they would the regular space shuttle, where they got to do all the cooling and all this stuff, that because it's a different type of system. So let's talk about that a little bit, Brandon, about the difference between when they fuel up a regular rocket compared to this. It's a totally different process, from my understanding.
Well,
Correct?
it is, but there are similarities to it. So and I do have to correct you on one point. Yes, they do chill it down a little bit
Yeah, but
before
not
they
they.
not as
It's not the same process, though.
yeah, they don't put all the fuel in at once. So basically what they do to get the engines and everything ready is they'll do what's called a chill down. And they do that with the lines too. So what they'll do is run a little bit of fuel through it to make sure all the lines and the engines and everything else are cooled to the proper temperature. Then they will start flowing the main amounts of fuel into those areas so that, because if you put a bunch of fuel at once into lines or engines like that, when they're at air temperature, you're going to do what's called a system shock and damage the stuff.
Yeah, and it's not going to ignite at all.
No. Well, and it'd possibly crack the engines and everything else.
Right. So okay, so the fuel farm, which actually, if you looked at a picture, it literally it's like a field that
Yep.
is off in the distance, and they've got lines going to it
Yep.
to uh, with large pumps that pump it from the tanks to the shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so go ahead and move on from that about the refuel and about moving people out.
So
Um,
they got that. They got that started, and about 5 this morning, I believe, our local time, they started fueling up the booster and the ship as well. And according to that, everything went according to plan. It went smoothly. There were no issues. Weather wasn't a factor this time, thank goodness. It normally is. We all know what happened with Artemis. So,
Now, where is that landing pad located?
Starbase is located near Brownsville here in the state of Texas. It's at a place called Boca Chica.
Okay.
So,
I'm guessing, like, I know that when that thing takes off, people can hear it from a very, very far distance.
oh yeah, they can, but I'm not able to hear it from here because of the fact that it's so far
Well, yeah,
off. It's
you
down
would
near the coast.
you wouldn't hear it at all, right?
No, but people in that area, yeah, they would be able to definitely hear it for a pretty good
And
ways.
when you were talking about getting people out of the area, like people that work for SpaceX, right? Not like, I'm guessing there's not. They didn't go house to house and say you got to leave, got to leave, got to leave, got to leave.
Well, no, but I'm talking about not only the workers for SpaceX, but I'm talking about people along the beaches that are near the launch pad. They want people to clear those beaches and go to Port Isabel or South Padre Island to view it because they've got a lot of beaches that are pretty close to that place, and it wouldn't be a good idea to have people in there when launching a rocket because of the danger.
Well, yeah, I mean, this thing is massive.
It's
It's
huge.
400 feet tall, you guys.
I'm impressed it can get off the ground as big as it is. Like it's impressive.
Yeah, to give you an idea, when you look at these buildings and you see a building that's 10 stories high, 10 stories, I believe, is 100 feet. I
I
think.
believe you're right.
Um, I can actually, I can confirm that. How many feet is a 10-story building?
A 10-story structure would be around 100 feet tall.
Okay,
Okay, yeah.
so now, so 10 stories is 100 feet. This is 400 feet. So it's as tall as a 40-story building. That's pretty huge, guys. That's massive.
That's extraordinarily huge.
Yeah, that's massive. Um, so they got everybody out this morning at 5 o'clock. Did the fuel up. They
No,
fueled,
actually, they got everybody out at midnight, and they
or at midnight,
started
and they
fueling
fueled
at
up
5.
at 5 this morning.
Yeah,
How long did it take them to fuel it up completely?
it took them 2 hours because they don't fuel both spacecraft at once. What they do is they fuel the booster, and then when the booster is almost full, they start on the ship, which doesn't take much time at all to fill up. So they pretty much have it down to a science where basically they can fuel one and then the other, and they get finished right around the same time, topping off fuel.
Right, right. Because clearly, for as for what they wanted to do, I guess it would require it to be completely full,
Yes.
topped off on fuel
Mm-hmm.
to be able to. It's not like a car and say, "Well, half a tank could do it." They always
No.
they always have to top it off on a
Yep.
launch.
Well, because you're always losing fuel too because of the air and the humidity and stuff too. So they gotta go what's called replenish.
Sure. Um. Okay, so they got that done. They did the refuel, and then the launch. When they did that, did they do the big countdown? 10, 9, 8, 7? I'm guessing
They did.
I'm guessing they did.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that the genius himself was there on the launch.
I don't know if he was. Nobody ever said. But here's the difference between this flight and flight number 1. Every single engine on this flight lit properly like it was supposed to. None of them did what's called flame out. It was, from what people said, it was very spectacular.
Wow.
There we go.
I could imagine the sound
Oh,
of that
yeah.
thing. I mean,
Microsoft Flight Simulator 1. A successful failure.
I'm gonna pull something up for you guys real quick
Google Chrome 15 of 37.
before we go into the other part of this discussion.
Clickable dialog.
Just so we can.
Clickable landmark. YouTube home is clickable search button. Clickable search with your voice. Clickable search landmark. Search edit. Search blank. Search.
Keep in mind, this is a fully fueled. This has no solid fuel in it. This is fully liquid fueled.
Main landmark. Clickable live. Launch of SpaceX Starship. Clickable SpaceX attempt second test flight. World's largest rocket. Watch live by Guardian News 95,000.
All right, so here's what I'm gonna do as well.
Clickable SpaceX Starship launch. Blast off postponed to the technical. Clickable SpaceX attempt second test flight. World's clickable live. Launch of SpaceX Starship by the independent 24,946 news stream 6 hours ago. 28 minutes link. Clickable SpaceX attempt second test flight. World's largest rocket.
All right, this is a stream of it launching.
Most recently, we
Let
began
these guys
loading
hear this real
methane
quick.
fuel into the tanks
Okay.
on the Starship. From the graphic on the left side of the screen, you can see up in the nose of the second stage what we call Starship.
All right, so let's
exactly
move
automated
forward.
It's incredible. Couldn't ask farther than stage separation. There's goals to test out how we
5 minutes 19.
on flight
5 minutes 26
1.
minutes
But the
26.
data,
7 minutes 21. 7 minutes.
PVC checks are complete.
8 minutes 25.
Recycle.
8 minutes 26 seconds. 8 minutes 20. 8 minutes 28 seconds. 7
Flight
minutes 20.
director,
7
go
minutes
for
30.
launch at
7 minutes.
T-minus 30 seconds.
7 minutes
All
30.
right, 30 seconds. In which I wish, Brandon, I could do it where you could hear it.
As we're
But
coming up on T-minus 1 minute, when we get to T-minus 40
7
seconds,
minutes
it
40
took a
seconds.
few
7
seconds
minutes.
for the
7
clock.
minutes 53
The
seconds. 7
second
minutes 54
test
seconds. 7 minutes 59 seconds. 8 minutes 1 second. 28. 8 minutes 2 seconds.
I'm going to try something real quick.
T-minus 30 seconds.
here we go, 30 seconds, folks.
Back to rapid recycle.
Oh, yeah, I can do it right here.
Okay,
So, yeah, I can hear it. I'm going to just cast it over to my Google display.
there you go.
Yeah, I can do it right here. Mine's a little bit behind.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit, but that's okay.
Back at Hawthorne, we're at T-minus 40 seconds in holding. We had a rapid recycle. We've not heard anything over the countdown net as the team works both first and second stages.
Okay, they're getting
We're
through.
gonna monitor
They
the
had a
nets here for a minute.
rapid. Let's
9 minutes 10. 9 minutes 12 seconds.
forward a little
9
bit.
minutes. 9 minutes. 9
An
minutes 20.
update,
9 minutes 26 seconds.
continuing to
9 minutes
hold
20.
T-minus
I love
40
this
like we're
engineer guy.
working
Minus-
just
John
late
Innsbruck.
pressurization. The
9 minutes 40.
systems are
9
on
minutes
hold
40.
right now
9 minutes 47 seconds.
before
9 minutes 50. 9 minutes. 9 minutes 55.
ideally
10
we'll
minutes 0. 10 minutes 5
continue to
seconds.
listen to
10 minutes 11 seconds. 10 minutes 7. 10 minutes 18 seconds. 10 minutes 10 minutes.
and it's worth
10 minutes
mentioning here
10 minutes 26. 10 minutes 30. 10 minutes
results
32. 10 minutes 30.
from
10 minutes 38 seconds. 10 minutes 40. 10 minutes.
We're just
10 minutes
moving forward
11
just a
minutes 0
little
seconds.
bit.
11 minutes 2. 11 minutes 3 seconds. 11 minutes 8. 11 minutes 10 seconds. 28 minutes 40 seconds. 11 minutes 17 seconds. 11 minutes 13. 11 minutes 15 seconds.
T-minus 15. 10. 9.
Here it goes.
7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. We have liftoff. Vehicle pitching downrange.
Wow.
Your chamber's pressure nominal.
We are T plus 40 seconds into the flight of Starship. 33 Raptor engines
Acquisition
powering the
booster and
first
ship,
stage.
power and telemetry nominal.
We've heard power and telemetry nominal call out. We're heading downrange over the Gulf of Mexico. And that call out tells us Starship is through the period of greatest stress on the way to space. Now the next major event is hot staging in just over 90 seconds from now. To get ready, the booster will shut down all but 3 of the Raptor engines. Flames holding the 2 stages together will release, and the Starship's second stage will ignite its engines. Starship will then separate from the Super Heavy booster and head to space. And at the same time, the 3 engines that are still firing on Super Heavy will flip the booster around. 10 more engines will ignite for the boost back burn, putting the first stage on path for a splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico.
Amazing stuff, you guys.
There you go. That he explained hot staging better than I could.
Engine power continues to look nominal on 33 Raptor engines. We're about to shut down the first stage and perform staging.
33
Let's watch and listen.
Raptor engines, you guys.
And keep in mind, flight test 1, they didn't all take off, ignite at the same time.
And acquisition of signal Houston and New Orleans.
Booster engine cut off.
And keep in mind, flight test 1, they didn't all take off, ignite at the same time.
Stage separation.
Boost back startup.
Ship engine ignition.
You're hearing the cheering. The first ever successful hot stage for SpaceX's Starship.
Incredible views of our Super Heavy booster. And as you can see, the Super Heavy booster has just experienced a rapid, unscheduled disassembly. However, our ship is still underway with
Ship
all
avionics,
6.
power and telemetry nominal.
And we just heard there, ship avionics, power and telemetry nominal. All 6 engines are lit, as you can see from the GUI there at the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Now, we did know that the that hot staging was going to be incredibly dynamic. We knew that there was a chance that the booster would not survive, but we're going to take that data and figure out how we can make the booster better for the next hot stage.
Yeah, that hot staging put a lot of load on the top of the booster, and of course it flips around there, a lot of dynamic stuff happening. But ship is still going strong.
And it's doing great. Right now, the ship, the second stage, is on its way. As like we said, you can see all 6 of its engines are ignited. The next major milestone for the ship will be the shutdown of those engines, or SECO, second engine cutoff, which if you follow our Falcon 9 launches, familiar terminology there. So far, today has been incredibly successful, even with the RUD of the Super Heavy booster. This is amazing.
Primary objective of the booster today, to get to hot staging, to get ship on its way to orbit. It did that admirably.
Yeah, we definitely asked.
Starship trajectory nominal.
All right, great news there. That trajectory for ship is
Acquisition of
nominal.
signal Cape Canaveral.
Once again, Starship's second stage is firing those engines. And as you just heard, everything's looking good. Now, for the ship, we wanted it to survive hot staging, which, as you can see there by that little dot on your screen, it did. We also want to basically demonstrate that the successful startup of those engines, demonstrating controlled ascent, which is what it's doing right now, and eventually orbital insertion. We are hoping to basically send this around the Earth And if it makes it this far, splashdown in the Pacific Ocean, a couple hundred miles north of Hawaii. Now, if we get that far, like all of that sounds great. Secondary objectives for ship, again, continuing to gather engine data and about its health, performance.
Nominal ship chamber pressures.
Great news there. That tells us that the chamber pressures inside of the Starship, again, that's that small dot on your screen, basically the propellant pressures in the ship are looking good.
Yeah, the bottom right corner of your screen, you can see essentially a user interface showing us which engines are lit. So the 3 center sea level Raptor engines on ship are gimbaling engines. The 3 outer engines in the triangle, the larger ones, are Raptor vacuum engines.
Oh yeah,
all
I'm
of them
still
continuing
here.
to fire nominally.
I'm
so they're
listening
at the
to it as well.
pressures that we
Let alone
expect
this
to
is
try
a
to
success.
get
Period. I mean,
into
I
a target
agree.
trajectory today.
This is not a failure
And
in my
we're
book.
not targeting orbit today. We're targeting almost orbit today. That's very intentional as part of the mission design. The goal is to get to a thrust profile similar to what we would need for orbit, but also
And
to get to the
expected
energy
signal,
levels
Houston.
that the ship would need to dissipate
Oh,
for
they lost
re-entry.
signal.
And so
Yep.
we're actually going in a suborbital trajectory today, but that
This is where
trajectory
the
will get us to the
destruction
energy
happens.
levels that we need at re-entry, where we can really stress that heat shield and get valuable data on re-entry. And those calls that we are still on a nominal trajectory here and seeing nominal pressures means that we have a really good shot of hitting our target orbit.
Yeah. Now, if the booster had survived, we would be around the time where it would be getting ready to land, performing its re-entry, but it unfortunately did not survive. That being said, that's okay. It survived several seconds after hot staging, so we're going to take that data and improve the hot staging sequence and probably improve the hardware itself for the next flight.
Let's.
1397. Space 20. 20
Here,
20 minutes, 3 seconds.
Here we
20
go.
we're
minutes.
standing by for a call out here. Coming up on the projected time that ship would shut down its engines.
As you can tell by the excitement from the crowd here at Mission Control Center in Hawthorne, there's a great view of our Star Command Center. That's our control center at Starbase Texas. The crowd here, Mission Control Center behind us in Hawthorne. Everyone is super exciting. What a successful day this has been so far.
And I mean, up to this point, major successful milestones through hot staging, which was the big objective today. So we are going to head into the coast phase, planned for the next about hour and 5 minutes. We'll be returning around the T+1 hour and 15-minute mark. And that's while we're waiting for Starship to continue on to its next step for re-entry. We're not totally sure what video we're going to get, and that video comes normally by overflying ground stations, but we don't have a ton along our flight path. So fingers crossed that we will get some via Starlink on this mission since we're testing that out. And also give us a moment. We are hearing some chatter on the net, so we're going to try to parse that for you.
+1390 successful. Ops 29 restream chat number admins channel provider flight Microsoft Flight Simulator. Microsoft 12,000 minus 23 feet per minute. 1390 1397. Microsoft Flight 12,300. 1390. 1390.
John Innsbrucker back here in Hawthorne at our webcast desk. We have lost the data from the second stage. We had heard a call out that we were internal guidance, which means we were getting near the end of the approximately 6-minute burn of Starship. But we haven't gotten any more data since then, so we think we may have lost the second stage. So we would not be into coast phase. We wouldn't be able to come back in an hour or so and possibly get ready for reentry. However, what we do know right now is we had an on-time launch at 7 o'clock. We got through the boats. First stage looked beautiful with 33 Raptor engines firing. We got the hot staging, you know, the thing that we really wanted to see and impressed. We saw the separation. We saw the flip maneuver. We saw the light up of the 6 Raptor engines on Starship, and it headed away. Everything really looked good. But what we do believe right now is that the automated flight termination system on second stage appears to have triggered very late in the burn as we were headed downrange out over the Gulf of Mexico. But the real topping on the cake today, that successful liftoff, Kate, Shiva, the hot staging is just beautiful. Exactly what we were looking for.
Yeah, ultimately, honestly, such an incredibly successful day. Even though we did have a RUD or a rapid unscheduled disassembly of both the Super Heavy booster and the ship, that's great. We got so much data, and that will all help us to improve for our next flight.
Of course, and that's why we flight test, and you can bet that there's going to be more to come. So we really do want to thank you all for joining us. Of course, we want to thank the people like Cameron Beach,
24 minutes, 45 seconds, 25 minutes, 52 seconds, 25 minutes, 53, 25 minutes.
All right, so I'm going to close that because we know what went on now.
1397.
Yep.
1397.
The thing is, they had more than one plan for this launch. The main goal of this launch today was that first separation.
And they did it.
And that was successful. That wasn't a failure. That was successful. They did it.
And you notice how they sounded cheerful, even though it didn't succeed all the way. They didn't sound downhearted or dejected or anything.
It did the flip exactly the way they wanted it to do.
Mm-hmm.
And after doing the flip, it lit them engines exactly the way it was supposed to. Something caused the override.
Yep.
Maybe, who knows? An engine could have caught fire. A panel could have overheated. A set amount of vibration. You know, I'm sure they got all this stuff in play. There's sensors all over that ship. All over it. For too much vibration, turn off.
Mm-hmm.
Too much thrust, turn off.
Yep.
A number of engines that didn't do what it was supposed to do, turn off.
Exactly.
A leak. Maybe it detected a fuel leak. That could do it too.
Mm-hmm.
So, this was very successful. Very.
Microsoft Flight Sim.
Now,
A successful failure.
Yep.
SpaceX Starship achieved a successful failure.
I've got a page here. It's got some information for us.
Starship. Land. Booster made it through stage separate. Starship successfully lifted off by the power of all 33 Raptor engines on the Super Heavy.
So, out of all 3 of these Raptor engines, none of them failed.
Booster made it. Starship successfully lifted off under the power of all 33 Raptor engines
That's
on the Super Heavy.
incredible.
Booster made it through stage separation.
Made it through stage separation.
Clickable button, play video. Link watch on X. Link X,
Let's go down.
Button share. Link read one out of frame will jumpstart human exploration of the moon. SpaceX founder Elon Musk hopes that Starship and when they become a cheap, rapidly reusable system.
Elon Musk, of course, says that, it'd become, obviously a cheap refuel system
That will jumpstart human exploration of the moon and Mars.
Yeah.
that'll jumpstart exploration to the moon and Mars.
The plan for the second launch attempt was to lift
I
off from Texas.
believe that.
Space intent.
The plan was to lift off from Texas
Splash down in the Pacific Ocean.
and then splash down in the Pacific
Splash
Ocean.
down in the Pacific Ocean near Hawaii, but making it all the way through like was always.
Making it all the way through flight was always going to be a difficult goal to reach.
Here's more on Starship and what this latest test means. As the Tails graphics, Starship is the largest rocket ever built. Elon Musk hopes it will one day carry people to Mars.
It's the largest ship ever built, and it says Elon Musk hopes one day it will carry people to Mars. Oh, I believe it will, 100%.
Caption: Starship is the largest rocket ever built.
I believe
Elon Musk hopes
it
will one
will.
day carry people to Mars. Caption: SpaceX. Heading level 3 Starship's first flight in April did not go according to plan.
I think it'll go further than
Now-
just Mars.
As we all know, in April, nothing worked out.
The first test flight of any rocket is going to be tough, and for its April 20th launch attempt,
That was the first test, and obviously they expected this stuff, you guys.
SpaceX tried to manage expectations. Somewhat tongue-in-cheek,
Yeah.
the official countdown timeline promised excitement guaranteed after launch. The rocket was of the 33 engine flame out before the Starship could separate control. It has the Tails graphics Starship's first launch rapid
So,
about 4 minutes
let's
after.
go.
Caption: Starship's first launch attempt ended in failed. Caption: about 4 minutes after liftoff. Caption: in the aftermath, destroy the vehicle if it went out of control. Had failed in the aftermath. It emerged at Starship's flight termination system, which was designed to destroy the vehicle if it went out of control. Had failed to do its job. On top of that,
So, the first time, things failed to do its job.
in the aftermath, it emerged at Starship's flight termination system, which was designed to destroy the vehicle if it went out of control.
It was designed to destroy the vehicle if it goes out of control. It didn't do that last time.
Rocket's first stage pulverized the concrete launch pad during liftoff, sending particulate dust.
And it pulverized the launch pad. That's the words they got.
Rocket's first stage pulverized the concrete launch pad during liftoff, sending particulate dust and chunks of debris flying. The failure of the pad and particulate
Yeah,
embarrassing.
some
Said
of the
Center for
media
Astrophysics,
groups that
Harvard,
had
Smithsonian,
cameras
Smithsonian
set
rocket
close to the launch pad,
showered concrete over miles of Texas, he said.
they got them
Center for
smashed
concrete over
to
miles of
bits,
Texas,
and
he
they
said.
got nothing back.
It
Some
showered
of them did.
concrete over miles of Texas.
The rocket recoup-ups also caught the eye of
Oh,
government
yeah.
regulators. The federal and showered the rocket recoup-ups also caught the eye of government regulators. The Federal Aviation
Then you got the
Administration
regulators,
grounded Starship pending a safety and environmental review earlier this week.
and they grounded them and all
Regulator
that.
cleared SpaceX for a second drive in part because of changes the company made.
And then they got cleared for changes
Design
made.
related links heading level 3 this time. SpaceX made some major
Okay.
upgrades.
Major upgrades, it said, that were made for this second launch.
First, engineers have added more room to the Starship's self-destruct system. They put in larger explosive charges meant
They put in larger explosive charges,
explosive charges meant to destroy the beefy rocket if it's great.
meant to destroy the rocket if something went wrong.
Thanks to our sponsor. Link become a sponsor. Advertisement reached out of the region. At invest flight. Control suddenly lost contact. The investment seemed to pay off on Saturday. At Starship's second stage.
They said that investment seemed to pay up on Saturday because they
Advertisement
lost
region. Investment seemed to
contact.
pay off on Saturday. At Starship's second stage near the end of its flight. Mission control suddenly lost contact. The company says that the automated flight termination system triggered very late in the rocket's burn.
The automated flight terminated very late into the burn, which means it almost made it all the way through.
In a statement, the Federal Aviation Administration said Starship was lost due to an anomaly. No injuries or public property damage have been reported, the agency said.
So, the Starship was lost due to an anomaly.
Related. Link SpaceX massive rocket for the second test. The company also created an entirely new system for attaching the Starship to.
I'd be
This was
curious to
rocket.
know
Allows
what
the
that
spacecraft to use its
anomaly
engines. The separate for the second
is.
test. The company also created an entirely new system for attaching the Starship to.
So there was a totally new
This
system
system for the second test.
created
The company also created an entirely new system for attaching the Starship to.
for attaching the
This booster rocket
Starship to
allows
the
the spacecraft
booster
to use its engines
rocket,
to separate from the booster during
which allows it to separate from the booster
flight and continue to
during
orbit. But the
flight
so-called hot
and
staging strategy
continue
is
into orbit.
This boost flight and continue to orbit. But the so-called hot staging strategy is new to SpaceX and is used very often on American rockets.
And apparently this type of staging they did is something that has not been used on American rockets, but
It appears to work well, allowing Starship to smoothly power away from the super heavy booster.
they did it and it
But
worked.
shortly after separation, the booster, which is supposed to be
Yeah,
visible,
it's called
exploded.
hot staging.
Yeah. And so with this hot staging, obviously the booster went kapoof.
Can cause damage to the booster, though it's too early to say if that's what happened.
They think that it caused damage to the booster, but in this report, it's too early to know.
Third, the super heavy booster rocket being used in its flight has some considerable improvements.
It said there's been improvements as well.
Third, the super heavy booster rocket being used in its flight has some considerable improvements. Over the previous one, the company claims. Most importantly, it uses an electrical mechanism to
This time it uses an electrical mechanism
control the rest of its dozens of engines.
to control the thrust of all the
Over the control the rest of its
engines.
dozens of engines.
Dozens of
Sure enough, all 33 engines on
engines,
the
rather.
first stage.
All 33 engines on the
Appeared to
first
perform flawlessly
stage
throughout the flight.
appeared to perform flawlessly, it
Control
says.
appears to perform flawlessly throughout the flight. Twitter tweet frame clickable. Clickable link back to link of
Let's
SpaceX.
go down.
Link follow. Link view on X. Super heavy booster 9 static fire successfully with all 33 Raptor engines with all but 2 running.
Okay,
Link
so
view on super heavy booster 9 static fire successfully with
Booster
Link view on
9
super heavy booster 9 static fire successfully with all 33 Raptor engines with all but 2 running.
let all 3 of the engines
Link view super heavy booster 9 static fire successfully with all 33 Raptor engines with all but 2 running.
with all but
For the
2
full duration.
running for the
Congratulations to
full
SpaceX team on this exciting
duration.
milestone. Clickable. Clickable button. Link watch on X. Link link X at link like. This link
So-
read button. Button share link read out of break
Oh,
time.
so
SpaceX
there
systems
were
are commonly
two
used for other
out.
launch pads, but get out with a win. No chunks of such systems are commonly used for other launch pads. Again, this fast flight company seemed to come.
Yes.
Out with a win. No chunks of concrete were heading level 3 Starship was a big part of
Okay.
SpaceX business plans. SpaceX is investing heavily in Starship. Musk has billion to zero in development. SpaceX is investing heavily in Starship. Musk has previously said that the company has spent $2 billion to zero in development.
$2 billion has been invested in this
The
project.
company has focused on the Mammoth rocket in part because Starship is central to Musk's
Wow.
dream of colonizing Mars. He hopes that a fleet of Starships will one day be able to put enough supplies into orbit to carry the first settlers to the Red Planet.
And Elon Musk overall goal is to
Of colonizing into orbit to carry the first settlers to the Red Planet.
carry the first settlers to the Red Planet. He wants to send several of these ships to Mars with
The
supplies.
Makes
rocket
a
is
lot
also a
of
big part of SpaceX
sense.
business with NASA. The space agency has awarded around $4 billion in contracts to SpaceX so that it can develop Starship into a lunar lander. NASA on using a version of the rocket for some of its upcoming Artemis missions to the moon surface, which would start as soon as 2025.
Moon. So they're talking about going to the moon in 2025.
Related, link Amazon
Yep.
deploys tested finally company's rockets according to Chris Quilty, the president of Quilty Space. Rockets aren't big enough to carry the newest third generation of Starlink satellites into orbit. Company's Starlink satellite internet system is awaiting a major upgrade, but SpaceX current Rockets are big enough to carry the newest third generation of Starlink satellites into orbit.
So the latest updates in satellites, even the latest rocket they developed, cannot carry these satellites into orbit yet. So that's another reason they're trying to build these bigger ships.
According to Chris Quilty, the president of Quilty Space,
Yeah,
Space
this
Analytics firm, not only is the
Starship
development of
is
Starship
going to
bringing a
be
ton of
able
cash,
to
but it's also holding
carry
back there.
a
According not only is the
payload
development of
of
Starship bringing
over
a ton of cash, but it's also holding
54
back there.
tons
According to launch
versus
and 3 satellites, not only is the development of
any
Starship bringing a ton of
rocket
cash,
now
but it's
that
also
we
holding back
have
there.
can only carry
Only is
17
development of.
tons
According to Chris Quilty, the president of Quilty Space, a private.
into orbit.
Now Chris Quilty, a private,
Not only according to Chris Quilty, the president of Quilty Space, a private space analytics firm.
is a private space analytics firm.
Not only is the development of only is of Starship
Says not only is it burning a ton of cash, but it's holding back their ability to launch these Gen 3 satellites.
As the sales graphic NASA spends SpaceX billions to develop Starship into a lunar landing craft, but first it has to graphic prove itself on Earth.
But
Graphic NASA spends SpaceX billions to develop Starship into a lunar landing craft, but first it has to.
it says it's got to prove itself on
Graphic prove
Earth.
itself on Earth. Caption NASA spends SpaceX billions to develop Starship into a lunar landing craft, but first it has caption prove caption SpaceX ahead of its test. It wasn't clear how Starship would perform. SpaceX conducted 2 test fires of the news were heavy booster and
Alright,
the first
so
conducted
2
an off-stage
tests were
engines failed to run
conducted.
engines failed to run McDowell fly and Quilty dominate the first stage that can land vertically on the bars.
Let's see what else they say here.
Starship, he says.
You always gotta have a
Starship, but MC
critic,
Bell
you
has
know?
the ambitions of Starship, but MC
It
Bell has
amazes
the
me.
ambitions of SpaceX. This monster rocket will have to make it all the way into space sooner or later. They need Starship to work eventually, he says. The big, can they get away with? How many failures can they need Starship to work eventually, he says. The big question for me is, how much eventually?
He said
All the way
this is what he says. They need Starship to work eventually.
The question for me is, how
The big question for me is how much can
eventually can they
they get away with?
failure can they tolerate?
How many failures can they tolerate?
Sponsor, link become a sponsor.
Come on, Chris.
Really? Really?
Sign up for news days a week. Sign up for newsletter.
Sorry you don't like advancements forward in space travel.
SpaceX prepares to launch its mammoth rocket Starship. Starship is the largest rocket moon to Mars, but for April 16, 2023. Graphic SpaceX mammoth rocket Starship heading level to the monster size. Stainless steel uncrewed spacecraft clear power but failed to. Separate from its booster content info landmark link button. Listen to the OPB news streaming now. Wait. Button collect show switch stream buttons. Button collect show switch stream buttons.
Here's the way I see it.
Microsoft Flight Simulator.
All these other companies are jealous because they're not the ones that came up with this. They're not the ones that came up with these ideas. So
They had their chance.
You're going to have critics. Well, they had the chance, but they didn't have the knowledge.
No.
Right? Let's just be truthful about it. Elon Musk he's the genius behind all this.
Exactly.
125.87.
There's your genius.
Microsoft Flight. Ops 29.1.3. Ops 20. Microsoft Flight.
I am very happy with
12,300. 10,005. Minus 3 feet per minute.
the outcome of
Time
this.
destination. 2 hours 8 minutes. 12 seconds. Ops 29 restream chat number admins flight 1 business space.
I'm glad we got as far as we did today, because had it not,
flight number 152 flight number 1.
it would have been bad, I think.
Distance 400 for estimated 1 hour 47 minutes. Clickable link cord 1 hour 47
Like, you would have had a lot more
436.9 m.
critics.
Estimate 436.9 m. Distance 436.9 m.
Check
Distance
this real
436.3
quick.
nm.
436.
Distance 436.3 nm.
Okay, I think we're good.
Distance 436.3 nm. Distance 436 estimated 436.3 nm. Distance 436.3 nm. Estimated time left 436.3 nm. Distance
I just feel
435.6
like...
nm. Distance 435.6 nm.
Okay, yeah, we're good.
Microsoft Flight Simulator 1 point. Left main 52%. Right main 52. Left O 19%. Right O 19%.
I think that again we're going the right direction with all this.
Yep.
Well, I wonder where the kitties are. There's the kitties. Mommy's not going to be happy if you dookied on her couch. But Mommy wanted the kitties, didn't she? Yeah, hi. They're both laying here, you guys, and they're just laying by each other. Hi. Hi, dear. Hi. Hi, kitty kitty. Hi. The one cat's laying on top of the other one.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm real happy with the way we're going, too.
Yeah, me too.
I see, like I told you earlier, I see a flight coming in January, and once it's successful, I think you're going to start seeing flights every 2 months, if not sooner, with Starship.
I think we'll see the every 2 months as soon as
I'd say March.
Well, it's going to depend on how quick they get the next. They got to figure out what went wrong.
Oh,
So-
absolutely.
So that's going to be their first thing. And as soon as they do that, then I see, they're obviously they're going to do another test flight. And if that flight is successful, 100% all the way through, that is when we'll see. We will see the every few months. I think we'll see them launch.
I don't think we're going to have this 7-month wait period like we did this time because of the.
You got to understand the reason for that was because they were grounded.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's why. But this time, they're not grounded this time because
No.
there was no.
There was no launch pad issues. The launch pad was good.
No, and there was no risk as far as
Mm-mm.
anybody being hurt.
Yep.
Well, there's always a risk, but they got to take some stuff into factors that
Yeah.
we're launching the biggest rocket. I mean, that's the biggest rocket in the world.
Yeah, it's 3.5 times more powerful than Saturn V ever was.
There's never been a larger rocket put in the air.
Nope.
Okay, good. I was checking on the cats, and they're staying on the couch, and that's good. That's where I want them to stay.
SLS isn't even
Stay
that
back,
big.
Willow. I'm amazed. I think it was an amazing launch.
Oh, I do too.
All right, hold on one second. I'm going to cut out just for a second, guys. Hold on. No. No. Back. Come on. I'll get you a drink in a minute. Get it. Still there, Brandon?
Yep, I'm here.
All right. Got the dog out. Got the dog back in. And if I'm lucky, the cats are still going to be right here. And they are. Hi. Hi there, you little turkeys. Hi. Hi there, little turkeys. Hi. Hi there. They're so little, you can hold them in the palm of your hand.
Aw.
That's how little they are. It's wonderful. The old lady always wanted cats, and now she got them. So, anyway, I am a space person like no other. I love anything to do with space. And I'm going to say this. And I wonder what the viewers would comment to this later or now or whatever. I don't have the chat turned on your guys' end, so if you're chatting, we don't see it right now. I'll do that in a minute. But here is my question. Brandon, this is for you too, and I'm going to answer it too.
Okay.
But let's get the question to these guys, and then I'm curious. Let's say now this is just me throwing a number out there. It doesn't mean it's going to be in 5 years. But let's say in 5 years they said, okay, we've got 100 settlers that's going to go, and we're going to put equipment on Mars. We're going to build on Mars. We're going to live on Mars.
Mm-hmm.
And you had the opportunity. They said, listen, We are giving people the option. If you want to live on Mars, there's nothing that says you don't have a right to go there. Right?
Yep.
That means going there and living there. And maybe sometimes, maybe like come back. I don't know. But would you do a flight to Mars? Would you go to Mars, not
I
knowing?
would.
Now here's the thing. If they said, look, one of the risks of going to Mars is something could go wrong, and there might not be no trips back to Earth for this amount of time.
Right.
Would you still go?
I probably would. Just, if the equipment's well tested and maintained and everything, yeah, I would probably go just for the adventure
Well, here's the thing.
of.
Here's the thing to think about. I would go too, and I think you're coming with the right answer, because here's something that I thought about. They're gonna want all kinds of people to go there
Absolutely.
that deal with different conditions.
Yep.
How does a person on Mars act if they're blind? How does a
I never
person on
thought of it
Mars
that way.
act if they have asthma? Or how does a person act on Mars if, like, you got all these ifs of people that they would want to test, they would want to know, they would want to. Nobody knows that answer right now, do we? Because there's no way for us to do the research.
Nope.
There will be whenever there's transportation given to go there. Talk to these guys for a minute, Brandon. Hold on, guys.
Yeah, I would definitely go to Mars due to the fact that it's another world. And yeah, you're right. I would love to see what it would be like. How do people react on Mars when you are blind like that? That would be an interesting study. I'm going to actually open. I'm going to look and see if there's any chat messages going through here for us. Nope. There's no chat messages. I don't see any. Yeah, there's no messages right now. So, but yeah, going to Mars would be a very interesting ordeal, I think. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
All right. Give me 1 second.
Alrighty.
All right. Hold on.
There.
Com 1, 124.32.
All right. Sorry about that, folks. Just
You're good.
a day of the BVI pilot life over here. Um,
Huh.
so yeah, I'm really, really, I'm just real big about stuff on space. I wish that, one of my biggest dreams, and obviously it's one of them dreams that cannot come true. Um, but I had the dream for such a long time when I was a kid. I always wanted to be an astronaut. I always wanted to be able to,
Me too.
you know, go to space. And then as I was going through school, and I knew like that's never going to happen, John. You need to get over that, buddy. I said, well, then if I can't go to space, I just want to be a part of. I want to be a part of something so brilliant. I mean, there's no job in the world that could be more brilliant than that right there, you guys. I
You
mean,
know,
honestly. Now
the closest
people can say that's stupid or whatever, but you tell me what other job is as brilliant as that, and
yeah, the closest I got to going to space is going to space camp.
I didn't even get to do that. I missed out. I missed out.
Man, yeah, there's a lot of people that did.
I wish I hadn't have, but because of my growing up as a kid, the things I went through, space camp was, I think, was it 10th or 11th grade when you go to that? I can't remember. But
It was 11.
yeah, 11th grade. I missed it because I didn't, I didn't stay in school back then. But I love space. I love absolutely everything about space. I wish that we had a simulator that we could actually use that
I
was
know.
accessible the way that we fly these airplanes. But
Mm-hmm.
we're talking a whole new level of stuff there, folks. I mean,
Yep.
there are space simulators you can download on your computer, but they're not.
We can't use them.
Yeah, they ain't. They no be accessible to us. Hell,
Nope.
and even if they was, we're gonna need a little while to train on even how to use one of them damn things. I mean,
Yeah.
and unless you got a simulator where you've got other people in the sim, like other AI that does settings and controls too. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just I love space. I love everything to do with space. I remember having an interesting question when I was talking about space to somebody, and they said, now this is probably something that you've probably even heard talk about. I was asked a question with Johnny. You love space and you love the idea of these other planets, but and folks, this is not going to get into to a different topic, but I just want to. I'm trying to say it as easy as possible.
Yeah.
I was basically asked about my beliefs in Christianity.
Yeah, I got that too.
Listen, God created Earth, okay? But God also created the stars and everything else around it.
Yep.
And I don't know everything in the Bible, but I know that there's nothing in the Bible that says you're not allowed to go to any of these other places that I've created.
Yeah, if it said that, find me where it says that, and then I'll believe it. It doesn't say it anywhere. Not at all.
And I don't think Mommy's going to be very happy when she gets home because I think one of the cats might have the dookies.
Uh-oh.
I'm pretty sure I just heard one go, Bleh. Hey, she wanted them.
Yep.
You wanted the kitties, honey. And I support you 100%. I do. But that's just part. And they had a different cat food today here. I don't know what the people gave them there where they were. They were also outside. These cats were rescued from outside. So I don't know what they've been fed.
Exactly.
Cats are the same as dogs. You feed you feed a cat or a dog new food, and
it's gonna mess with their digestive system a bit.
Yeah, exactly. That's right, Dr. Brandon. You got that right, sir. Gotta have some coffee here, folks. Coffee time. Coffee time! Maybe. Oh, a daggone. But yeah, so very exciting to come on here and talk about SpaceX. And of course, like we always do, we come on, we talk about something, and then we continue to just
it always happens that way, doesn't it?
Other stuff. But the main topic, you guys, if you're just tuning in, you missed what we were talking about. We even shared a good clip of SpaceX having a successful, I would like to put that in quotes, quote unquote, a successful, opening quote, successful, closing quote, launch.
Yep.
Not a successful failure. It's not a failure. Now, why the title? Because we wanted people to understand what went wrong, what happened. Everybody today is celebrating in Texas. That's a part of the SpaceX team.
And they should be.
Because they did something beautiful. They did something magnificent. I mean, come on, you guys. There's never been anything like it before. I mean, there was the first launch, but I'm saying there's never been. What have we done?
And I gotta point out something. All those critics that say, "Oh, how many failures can you get away with?" Blah 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 blah. How many failures do you guys think things like Apollo had before it launched? They didn't have just one or maybe none.
No,
they had several.
Matter of fact, that whole launch almost got scrubbed.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing about got scrubbed. If that had got scrubbed, we might have never even been to the moon yet.
Nope.
You can't go by what goes wrong to keep you from doing something.
33 feet per minute. 12,200. 10,500. Time en route to destination. 1 hour 42 minutes.
That's always aggravated me about space flight. Like, when there's always something that goes wrong, and everybody points to, "Oh, well, this went wrong. This went wrong." So, you don't think things go wrong in other areas?
Exactly.
Autopilot master active. Altitude lock active. AP altitude. Hold 11,900. 12,217 feet.
That's just, that's just the challenge of space flight. Things will go wrong. It's inevitable.
Pivot off. Pivot on.
Of course.
Yaw camper off. Yaw camper active.
But people seem to think that I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me, but.
Me either.
Recognition off. Wing off.
But that's people for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fuel pump off. Fuel pump active. Number 1 ignition off. Number 2.
But I hopefully we see another big launch.
47%, 594 pounds, 89 gallons.
I think we will. I don't think
pounds,
there's hopefully about it. I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later.
11,900, 102 feet per minute.
I think so.
Number 1 fuel valve open. Number 2 fuel valve open.
I think so. I don't know what that button does, but it clicks something in there in the cockpit. Alt A, I don't know what it does, but.
Stall warning.
knots indicated.
So did Alt D. I don't know what that did, but that made it stall.
134 knots indicated.
Hopefully the next SpaceX launch we can actually do a live stream and report a success all the way through from beginning to end.
Minus 2949 feet per minute. Minus 2106 feet per minus 1637 feet per minus 1158 feet per
yeah.
minus 1001 feet per
I'm hoping to see another launch in January.
minus 906 feet per minute. Minus 919 feet.
I
Minus
believe it'll
922 feet.
happen.
Minus 889 feet per minute. Minus 896 feet per minute. Minus 919 feet per minute. Minus 984 feet per minute. Minus 1030 feet per minute.
I hope so.
10,000 feet. Autopilot master off. Altitude lock off. Nav lock off. Minus 922 feet per minute. Number 1 starter engaged. Minus 958 feet per minute.
I'm hoping so. I'm
Minus
hoping
1115
to
feet per minute.
see.
Minus 1207 feet per minute. Minus 1283 feet per minute. Number 1. Minus 1424 feet per minute. Minus 1640 feet per minute. Number 1 starter off. Number 2 starter engaged.
I'm hoping to see.
Minus 1995 feet per minute.
This is
Number 2
really
ignition on.
stupid. I'm hoping to see a
Number
launch
2
in
starter off.
January
Mm-hmm.
and it be successful all the way through,
Yep.
and then see them do it every other month. So
Flight number 100 ops
It's
29.1
going to
ops
happen.
29.1 point start virtual
I'm
recording check ops
predicting
check.
right now, and if it doesn't happen, you can
Stop screening
hold
check
that
check.
against me. But I predict it's going to happen.
I think so. I think so. They're not grounded this time. So
Nope.
Minus 571 feet per minute. 8780 feet ASL. AP altitude 11,975
By the way,
feet.
we didn't have any chat
Start
messages,
recording.
so
Stop screening
I
check ops
went
check.
and looked earlier.
Start recording. Stop
Nobody
screening check ops
wrote
check.
in.
okay, well you guys can leave comments, and then if we get any big updates, we'll let you know. We're doing our live stream.
Yep.
For now, me and Brandon disconnect from
Stop
the
screening
live
check ops check.
stream. Hope y'all enjoyed the conversation, the update, and if you know something we don't know,
Stop screening check ops check.
hey, leave a comment. Let us know. And
Yeah, that'd be
Stop screening check ops check.
interesting.
if you're a developer and you're considering doing anything for a space simulator, look us up, because that is something that we would love to be involved in.
Minus 187 feet per minute. Start
Absolutely.
recording. Stop screening check ops check.
Y'all take care till next time. Keep the blue skies up, and in this case, I guess you would keep the dark space up, or out, or below if you're in space.
I think you keep the blue skies below if you're in space.
Yeah, keep the blue skies below and keep the dark space up.
Yeah.